The final encounter ended this way, Ross. It's been recapitulated a couple of times, but just to be absolutely clear, you secured the horse that you had started to secure, and by the time that you had secured the horse, the rest of the encounter was over. Morale broke pretty much immediately after Jagrov's spell was cast, and you watched a couple of dudes stumble out of the cloud of darkness, and one dude really failed to stumble out of the cloud of darkness. A chaotic melee ensued with the fleeing. Let's call them brigands for now. That's what you've been telling yourselves. One captive was taken and nearly stabbed to death by Jagrov, but saved by Zephyar's completion of the remaining fracas.
I cannot emphasize enough how intolerably self-smug Zephyr is about having beaten a superior combatant to death with his alone, unarmored, with a stick. He is...
I don't know how you're concluding that he was a superior combatant. He didn't touch anybody with that sword.
Well, I blasted him with fire and he kept coming. And he'd been shot several times and he was still going, so I assumed that guy was tough as nails.
I thought you were just going for the T and that was a glancing blow, but all right. So you captured quite a lot of trade goods. You returned them to town for right of salvage, which you can assure yourselves is completely acceptable here. By the way, this is a nation founded by pirates and privateers originally. So you going out and taking somebody else's stuff back to society and then saying, "All right, I want money for this," is not
redistribution of assets.
It's normal. It's recovery, and that's a completely acceptable way to make a living. It's a really stupid way to make a living if you're trying to survive for a long time, but it is a very profitable way to make a living before you meet your own grisly fate. Mm-hmm. So having done that is not socially unacceptable here. You did have to be checked to make sure that you didn't kill the guys in cold blood, but you were then able to salvage the stuff with no problem. After that, you guys returned to civilization with a substantial amount of money and business, let's call it capital. You were able to offload the trade goods at a loss, but you did establish a business relationship with the local, I guess, merchant guildmaster. That's who Farouk is. Mm-hmm. Someone had a question about that. You would have been able to salvage the 3 pieces of equipment that you brought back with the quartermaster. He will compensate you with their exact GP value, reduced GP value in goods. That is 40 gold worth of trade you can do for any piece of standard arms or armor. I know Marie had requested the shield. The shield that you brought back was in no state to be used, but you can swap it. You can swap 5G of that, or 10G of that for another new shield with him. Okay, and if you want to grab any other 30 gold worth of stuff, you kind of got to use that or lose that. He's offering a barter, not cash. You drummed up some hirelings. 4 of them in particular responded. Zephyr attempted to hire one of them, who absolutely would not work for Ayla Karnan.
Hurt my feelings, frankly.
Yeah, there may have been some miscommunication there. If any of you wants to try to recover that situation, you may attempt to rehire her. She is a river trader. She served with, I guess, the floats guard on the river by the lake.
So we cashed out the chainmail and sword, right?
And shield.
Okay.
For 40 gold in bartering power at mid-market. 2 questions remain before you can go and do anything. Are you going to sell the horses and cart? And where are you storing your valuables if you're going somewhere else?
Right. So do you want to keep the 2 light horses and sell the draft horses?
Yeah, if we sell the draft horses, we'll need to sell the wagon as well, since
Yeah.
the light horses can't pull it. But I do
Yeah.
think we should sell the wagon and heavy horses. I
The
know you had
wagon
some. I know you
Go
had
ahead.
some thoughts about that, but I don't know what your plan was per se.
Nah, I was just throwing it out there. I just thought maybe we should just discuss with everybody. I think Marie, out of character. That's my thought. The light horses could be really valuable, but I think the draft horses, unless we're going to be plan on hauling a lot of gear with saddlebags or something, I don't think it's super necessary.
All right. While Zephyr is pouting about getting completely roasted by Denise, he is going to go auction off those horses and wagon at the plaza to whichever merchant wants the most, and just he'll liquidate them off camera.
Farouk will pay you the deal that he offered earlier. You're not going to get a better deal than that.
Okay,
It's extremely generous.
Which is like he'll take 10% of the market price.
No, he's not doing a fee. He's just giving you the local price for everything, the local mid-market price. So it's
Hell yeah.
9/10 of the value of the draft horses and the full value in accounting for damage for everything else. So it's
Cool.
231 gold for the 4 heavy draft horses and the cart and the
All right.
tack.
I think.
31 GP.
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm curious, after everything else that's been said, it's certainly, I don't think anybody will have seen me cast that spell before. You may be aware of that I cast spells and stuff, but if I'd cast it before, I'd be more corrupted than I am.
I'm not sure
Right.
anyone knows what corruption is.
Indeed, it's
Indeed,
not
but
it's not something that my guy knows about.
I don't know.
So
what you're talking
right,
230
well, and I'm not sure I'm going to talk about it, but I am wondering if there was any, conversation, or is it more common than that to see such things? I don't know if
Just that you cast a spell.
or that it was the way it was, that it was like now there's this horrible darkness, and it's like kind of a scary darkness, and it's like
Right.
and
I don't know, man. I
Yeah.
coughed up a serpent out of my navel. I'm in no position to talk shit.
well, I'm
Did-
not. Yeah, perhaps it wouldn't result in shit talking, but
You
anyway.
were at the back of the marching order. Did you even make it clear that you cast a spell?
I was standing.
For all they know, you were just there.
No, I was, because it has to have its little signature, and I was
Mhm.
standing next to Zephyr, who certainly will have seen me with my
Well, I'll
little.
probably ask you about your technique, and
Yeah.
I will probably believe whatever you tell me. So we'll come back to that.
All right.
Give me a moment to finish.
Does
my count.
Zephyr have collegiate wizardry?
No. Like I said,
And
I'll
he has
probably believe whatever
absolutely-
he tells me.
Yeah. He has absolutely no way of knowing anything about that other than that it's not his own school.
Mhm.
How common are wizards in this world? I forget what we
Extremely
Quite rare.
rare.
Like-
Okay.
It's like 1 in 1,000, something like 1 in 1,000 people, if that.
You would say it's about as rare as I don't know what kind of high school you guys went to, so actually maybe that demographic doesn't mean anything.
Well, now I'm
If-
curious.
out of all the people that you have probably met in your life whose faces you can recall, maybe 2 of them would be wizards.
Right.
And you might not even know that they're wizards.
Well,
Okay.
and in your case, it would be Zephyr and Jagrab. We're the 2.
Having 2 of them together when one of them isn't the apprentice of the other is absurdly rare.
Yeah. I think Marie, I guess we're in the tour, whatever it's called. Which one's it's called again? We're at Osmark tour. I think Marie would actually talk to Palensis at some point, when it was just the 2 of us, and just ask, do you have experience with sorcerers like this? This is the first time I've met any of them. I mean, what happened there with the pall of darkness was something that I've never seen. I've only heard stories of. How do you feel about this, working with these people?
They're both foreign wizards. I was assigned to... Actually, out of character, my thought is that Palinsas dealt with vagabond and what would you call it? Bedouin type Hansons, ones that are on the move, for good or bad. I don't know. That was my thought, that he would be somewhere in the south. And that does not represent necessarily some sort of action against Hansa, but that is a problem that could occur in the frontier. I don't know.
Right.
Does that make sense, Martin? I don't know.
You've never, unless you've taken a boat, you've never been to Hansa. The expanse between the south of Bremen and what you assume to be the north of Hansa is wide and untraversable. Literally no one has ever crossed it, as far as you're aware. It's it's beyond no man's land. We're talking like 30-40 mile stretch of there be dragons.
Well,
there are Hansons who come to Bremen via the ports, and usually they're from quite far south.
So
Hansa rather than from the north.
Anything that would have been in that wilderness would not have been a Hanson.
You have no idea what's in that wilderness. You've never heard someone say what's in that wilderness. No one has ever gone and lived to tell the tale.
Okay.
So,
in response to...
go ahead. Sorry. Brief aside, I had been thinking of being north as being far from Hansa, but it sounds like what we actually want to be is east, because if we're far from the coast, we are de facto as far as we can get from an invading Hansan army, because they have to come in on the sea.
No, they're crossing. That's what you've heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's quite a noteworthy thing that they're doing.
Oh, okay. So they're pulling a Hannibal. They're crossing the Alps.
They're crossing the Alps, but
there are dragons in them.
Hansa's known to be pretty big, so if they're mustering the army, probably the wilderness is not enough to stop them.
Spooky.
You're talking probably, I mean, for all you know, this is an army whose just the fighting force, the actual fieldable soldiers, outnumber all of the people in Bremen.
Right.
That's
wow.
the scale that you see in this
Oh, they're going to devour this place.
So what do you say, Ross? What's the I forget what I was saying. I was just asking if you've ever dealt with wizards before.
No, never.
And how do you feel about this? That whatever that foul darkness was that was covered the cart.
I'm less concerned about that, and more the fact that one wears the robes of Lacarnon, the other is a Hanson.
Yes, I was thinking the same. I don't know if these people are... There's larger political things happening here. I mean, even if there isn't, we may encounter tension with some of the locals if we're traveling with these people. But I am a poor woman who is has been struggling for many years, and if there is some way to... I've already made more money than I have in a long time, so I'm willing to stick it out for a while.
Look at it this way. They don't seem like spies to me, I'll just say that. I have no
sass I've ever had.
I have no idea what they're doing here in Bremen, but it doesn't seem to benefit them any. So maybe they're not exactly here by their own choice, at least not now, not with what's happening. They seem like decent people, but there are things about Hansen. There are things about outsiders, especially Hansens. They're inscrutable. We'll see.
You know more than I do. I haven't traveled far, but I'll follow your lead. If something seems awry, just give the word, and I'm going to run, or I don't know. The southerner mentioned some things about one of the. I had one of them on the ground, one of the bandits, if they were bandits, and he said something about. I can't remember exactly. Something about preferring killing them when they were on the ground, or something like this. He seemed to not care too much about the lives of others. I don't know what that means. I just thought I'd warn you. I don't. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yes, we will.
Anyways, I guess we should go find them. And she gets up. I don't know where we are, but she just tightens her belt and whatever, and heads off.
Now we're gonna head over. We're gonna head back. Try to go find that.
To find who?
Or did we already lose that mission? Basically, like we went the wrong direction.
Oh, I don't think we've lost it per se. What were the names of them? Dauros and Panyas. Now, it mentioned that they were gone missing along the highway to Kadoan, which is to the west.
Yes, although the route that you took was pretty much equidistant between the two highways. It would not be unusual for them to stop and trade at the villages along where you were before linking up with the main road. So, the direction that you went to reach the forest was completely plausible.
Okay. I for one, think that continuing to pursue that mission is a sensible one. The wages are good.
Yes. Perhaps we find some more bandits with carts.
That's heading west, you said?
Yes, this is
Right where
the direction.
Right where we came from.
Okay. That's not a bad idea. I just don't. I don't know how long we have until there is war raging over this land. I would like to go to Seal's Bend at some point and just figure out whether it's a safe place to maybe to weather the storm that's coming. But
go where you go. I cannot journey alone.
Well, I myself am merely a scout and a guide. So if you want to head west, I will do that happily. But I do think there is some increasing urgency to find places of safety as well.
I just need to. I'm confused, so I need to ask about where we are on the map and where we're talking about going. So currently, I'm looking at the local area. So from Osmark Tor, if you go north along the road from there towards Sills Bend, there is the village a mile or two to the north called
Aspen.
And
Yeah.
it's been ruined, right? And we explored Aspen, and then we went into the woods. Like, we're just going to go into the woods.
Yeah.
And while we were in the woods, we came upon a trail in the woods where there was probably an innocent merchant caravan that we slaughtered. So, from that point, did we go back to Osmark Tor? I'm sorry, I know that we said we went. Okay, so
That's correct.
we're in Osmark Tor right now, at the
Yes.
Actually, where are we? Bathhouse and Inn, the Bathhouse and Inn outside the gates. Okay,
You're almost certainly staying at the Traveler's Inn.
All right. Okay, so and so now we're saying that the evidence we have, because I'm also not tracking that, the evidence for the two merchants, Daros and Panos, are actually west on the road we came from to Bowert.
Yes.
Their
based
final
on-
destination was meant to be Kadawin. That's what you know. But you were also given additional details that were not on the poster by the person that the poster said to come and see, which is that they were making stops along the route before they headed to their final destination.
Okay. I agree with Jay, and I worry about the possibility of ending up chasing our tails, and I think we should march to Sill's Bend. There is the thing at Sill's Bend of the noble, the Marcher Lord, who is talking about trying to relocate into the forest, and that could help us slowly crack open this case of the beastmen. So I think that's one step along that path. My concern about going back to Bowert is that we may end up kind of doing circles and not finding something. We'll get to Bowert. We already came from Bowert. Okay, now we need to go to Kadawin. We're talking about some sore feet.
Okay.
It is good money, but there's no guarantee, I think, based on what I know, correct me if I'm wrong, that we would actually find them.
All right. Let's go to Sill's Bend tour. Actually, let me verify something real quick. Martin, you mentioned that from Ostmark Tor, the men we're tracking, Davos and whatever, went north, and we're hitting other regions along the way. So they would probably go north, then Mignan Tor, then south to Kadawin.
No, they were scheduled to hit a number of villages in the area that you went to. You went to the place you were told that they were supposed to be visit. They were planning to visit a number of farming villages. They would usually pick up crops in the direction of Aspen, although obviously not at Aspen, which is supposed to be abandoned. But they would have gone that way and then eventually linked up with the road around Bowert and gone to Kadawin. So the area that you went near the forest was almost certainly the most likely place for them to disappear, because that would be the only time they were not on a patrolled road flanked by watchtowers, as most of the roads are every mile or so. You can make of that what you will. You were also, when you went into the forest, you were also, and Ross, you weren't here for this part, given directions by a captive who you are very certain you convinced to tell you something that wasn't made up, or at least it seemed that way. He gave you pretty clear directions to a cave where he said he had seen beastmen coming and going in the forest. You have directions to this place. You don't know exactly how far into the forest it is, but you made good note of those directions, and your scout seemed to think that they were the sort of directions coming from a non-scout that couldn't be made up, because he was giving you the sort of details that would make sense in a forest. Now, that's not to say that he was telling you the truth about the destination or anything, but they were certainly actual directions that you think you could follow.
Okay.
So that is another option.
We were not successful in getting hirelings, right?
I was not. You guys can take over for me. There's only one person who I really wanted to hire, and she was too racist. So I did not get a hireling. Maybe you guys can.
Any of you are welcome to re-attempt hiring with her. There will be a small penalty, but that shouldn't stop you from trying, especially if you're offering incentives. She was explicit that the reason she didn't want to work for Zephyr is because she doesn't like Lucarnans. Okay. There were also 3 other people in town. One of them was a pretty lean and maybe even kind of sickly looking hunter, but he seemed, not a hunter, sorry, trapper. A trapper doesn't need to be a big burly type. All they got to do is know how to lay their traps and butcher the animals if they catch them. And the third person was... Apologies, I wrote this down in the in-character thing under hiring details. That's right. There's a failed apprentice mage who you guys can kind of see why he failed. He's a little bit monosyllabic.
Right.
And then there was one soldier, a veteran who had mustered out and was looking for work as a sellsword, and he seemed a little bit. He seemed like the hard type, but also wanted to know why he should even consider an offer from you over the other group that was hiring in town. If any of you are interested in hiring any of them, let me know.
No.
All right, that combat calculus doesn't seem enough to try to trek off into the cave yet, but that seems like maybe a secondary thing later. However, getting a hireling just makes sense to me. I would go to this person and try to hire them.
Which one?
The soldier.
Okay. Well, he wants to know why he should consider your offer over the offer of the Fierce Brethren, and he points to.
That points to them.
On the wall,
Yeah.
the flyer.
Are they here?
They're in town.
You haven't seen him.
Haven't seen them. Okay. Fierce Brethren. Wow. Yeah. Never heard of them. Tell me about them. Maybe you should take their offer.
He says they haven't made him an offer.
Oh. Well, maybe I shouldn't make you an offer either. I get up to leave.
He's confused, and he will let you get up to leave. I'm not sure.
He says he
I'm not
wants.
sure
He
what
says he
does
wants.
make of
He says he wants money. But yeah, if he's. I'm trying to see if he's actually going to stick around or not. I'm not just literally rejecting everything that comes up, Martin. I promise.
Well, he's confused. I don't think his charisma is as high as you were expecting either.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Why should I hire you?
Refill my drink while this nonsense unfolds.
Why should I? Well, we need hirelings. I'm not just. I think we do. Why should I hire you? In fact, why didn't they hire you? I size him up too. You know, like who did it? Is it apparent who he may have worked for? And in Bremen.
He was clearly a soldier. He's wearing the gear he mustered out with.
Oh.
And the insignia is... Now, that is a good question. The insignia is from one of the tours further south of here. Not too much further south, but you recognize it. These are people you will have stumbled across. They got a reputation for being mean. They're a little bit further out in the wilderness. They don't see as much interaction with the locals.
Huh. How do they treat outsiders? Not great then.
Well, he'd be working for you if you hired him. And you're a fellow soldier.
Yeah. No, I mean,
So.
okay. Yeah. All right. Does he look, and he looks of course. Okay.
I wouldn't say competent. I would say he looks like a hardened killer.
Oh, okay. I do need one of those, actually. We do need some of those, as a matter of fact.
Need more hardened killers.
Okay. Anyways, I say that. Why did they turn you down? I mean, why should I hire you? You know, we came across some gold recently. Now, that's what it comes down to. It's money.
I heard about that.
Oh, you did?
But you killed a whole band to take it.
Yeah, it's not for everyone.
I could do that.
Ah, I see. Well, I'll tell you what. I look around for a broom and to skirmish him, and I throw some gold down on the table and snap off the end of a broomstick, and I toss it to him and I say, "If you can beat me, I'll consider hiring you. Otherwise, maybe they'll take you. I don't care."
Okay. He puts down his large spiked hammer and
Nice.
takes your half of the broomstick.
Are we
You
around to
guys-
watch this, by the way?
Do you want to be?
I
would like
really do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He'll spar with you. Do you want to run this as an actual non-lethal combat, or do you just want me to roll a die and tell you what happens?
I leave that entirely to your discretion. I'm entertained by either.
All right. Well, he fights dirty.
Ah, nice.
I will make bet.
He wants to bet.
I mean, you've
not
seen
taking
people
bets one
fight
way or the
dirty,
other.
but he almost, I mean, he's picking stuff up off of the tables and throwing it around at you to try to get you off balance.
Yeah.
Walking around, he'll try to trip you a couple of times. It's up to you what you think of that, but you get the sense that he likes being the strong man in a fight. One of those.
Okay.
It's good.
Is good.
Good fighter.
Is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Who wins? How do we do that?
Well, if you want to fight it to that point, that's up to you. I was figuring this was a couple of rounds, and probably you each win a couple because you're fairly evenly matched.
Oh, okay. That's fine. In that case, I think my final question is, if I can discern this, I know what tour he came from, and I can see that he is a rough person, and that he's shady. That's all great. Will he treat my Locarnon and Hansen friends fairly?
I'm not Locarnon. I'm from Bremen.
You're wearing the clothes.
I'm.
Uh,
Zephyr goes
wearing
throws up
the-
his hand, stands up, and leaves to go buy some new clothes.
Good.
well, you're the one in charge of this operation, aren't you?
Who does he say that to? He says that to.
He says that to Valensis.
Oh. No, I don't ask him in character. I try to see if I can size him. I try to see if I can discern that he wouldn't, do something to the squishy people.
He pays them almost no regard.
Okay. Yeah. Then if he can hold his own and he seems like he's just in it for money, then that's good. And I offer him let's see. I offer him 35 gold pieces and half a quarter of a share of what I make, and then we'll renegotiate it when we and I also tell him I tell him, I'm like, we're trying to gather a band to dislodge these beastmen, and then if we succeed in that, it could mean land and a lot of gold. He could be set for life.
He looks like, well, so first of all, the offer that you made is absurdly generous. That is like over a month's wage
Yeah.
up front as a signing bonus, and then almost double the normal pay that he would be expecting. When you say dislodging the beastmen, he'll get sort of a nasty grin on his face. But when you mention land, he'll kind of raise an eyebrow.
What's his name? I haven't asked. I haven't asked until now.
His name is Joyce.
Joyce. That's a stupid name. No, I don't say that.
Hell of it.
Did your mother want you to be this tough? Is that what happened?
So, Rousdower, is that a stupid name?
It ain't Sue, okay?
Joyce is a fine name.
Joyce is
That's great.
a real name. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
James Joyce.
Joyce. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
well, what's his last name?
Yeah, it's still
Kind of a
good.
stupid person. Anyway, so
All right.
Dana,
So-
Dana,
so-
Dana Joyce.
he'll seem a little confused when you say land. He's like, Why don't we just take the forest?
You could do that. What? How about that, Lord Joyce? I laugh.
Zephyr leans back and looks over to Marie and says, "What would you do with land?"
Fits better than Sergeant did.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Well, we march out for Sill's Bend to talk to their Marcher Lord right away. Do you know him?
Okay. Who, Burke?
You know him. I looked at everybody
I don't know
else.
his name.
Tell me all about Burke.
Pansy. All the scouts are.
He
There,
was-
what's one?
He was a scout.
He is.
What do you mean by scout? I say.
Now you know. Now it's your turn to get sassed.
Actually, you don't need to ask him about this. You'll know that Sill's Bend is one of the scout-run outposts.
Okay.
Their chapter house, rather than having, let's call them men of learning, houses a pretty well-known among the scouts anyway in this area, cartographer
Oh, cool.
who archives maps. So you will know this. I don't think anyone else has any reason to know this, but you, having served as a scout, will be aware.
Okay, so I'm considered a scout then. Like it's
Yeah,
not something.
um,
Okay.
So there are two things that I apologize for taking time to drag
Oh,
all this
good.
out.
Yeah.
The Freeport's a very young country. Very, very young. You guys were talking about outsiders earlier. There's no such thing as someone who is like a native Bremen. This whole place was like recaptured from complete, monster overrun wilderness less than 100 years ago. So the idea that someone is like a native-born Bremen is pretty much a novelty. It's like the year is 1810 and you're calling yourself an American.
It's late enough.
Everyone's
Still
from
novel.
somewhere else. Everyone's like a Locarnan Bremeni or a Hansen
Right.
Bremeni, or they came from the islands out to the west, where the pirates were the pirate kings kind of hang out, or they're Asconan. So all of you guys are going to be from somewhere else, and even someone who's of ostensibly Locarnan stock, they might be first generation, second generation, or at most third generation. That's it.
Okay.
That's one. Two, at 16, everyone serves. Every citizen serves. They have to. There's no other way to sustain a frontier nation like this. So you will all have served either in the Free Marine, based out of the capital, or the other major port in the south, aptly named Southport until I think of a better name, or possibly never renamed. That's a pretty good name. And or you'll have been part of the River Guard, who are based out of Catalan. If you were in the inside, that's the Free Marine. Or you'll have been part of the Marks Guard, who are stationed along the border forts, the 15 border forts,
Okay.
running a sort of hook around the edge of Bremen. Or you'll have had a very special skill. Craftsmen, like armorers, or people with particular mercantile talents, or mages, get an exemption as long as they either give 1 year in corvée labor, their first year after completing their apprenticeship, to the service of the military. So you would be sitting there making arms and armor before you can strike out on your own. Or you would be doing something along the lines of working in a merchant marine. Or if you're a mage, you'll do mage stuff for the country. That's a little more esoteric, but something like that. So everyone at the age of 16 serves.
Okay.
You've all served. You may have just been trained and never actually seen any action. You may have never been deployed anywhere. You may have been just part of a militia and really just been a farmer the whole time, and you just went to formation every day for a year or something like that. But everyone served.
Cool.
So if you're a scout, you're not just some random frontiers person. You're a frontiers person who was at some point attached to a unit. It might have been
Okay.
a reserve unit, but you were attached to a unit.
Okay, so when this guy, what's his name again?
Joyce.
Joyce.
Choice.
Says speaks poorly of the scouts. I'll I just give him a look and just say, you might want to watch your words, friend, if you're going to be traveling with us. Your life might be on the line, and I might be the one watching the way who makes the decision whether someone puts an arrow in your back or not.
He spits and says, "Present company excluded, of course."
I just stare at him.
Yeah.
I look over.
I'm doing my best with this personality.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I look over at the others and just
He's good.
I look unimpressed.
You get
Especially
used to it.
as a woman, like yeah, there's a piece where it's like he's talking down about this certain type, and also like, yeah, I'm like, don't judge.
Sounds like the kind of men we want on our side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of
He
that in the
fights
last few
dirty.
days with you
He
guys.
fights dirty. This is good.
Okay.
His dirty ways become him.
I do like, now here I am like sewing just, no, I won't do that. That's not in character. Never mind. Let's go talk to old Burke. Let's
All right. So here's what we do with henchmen. Typically, people will spend a lot of time micromanaging their own henchmen in these sorts of games, and that can lead to too much unity. Henchmen are supposed to have their own loyalties. So the way that this works here is that while a henchman will be given orders by their leader, they will actually be played by another player.
Fun.
And if you hire a
Who wants to
henchman,
be the Joyce?
you will never see their inner thoughts. but
I
another
pick
player
Father
will,
Chris.
and I am expecting you to keep it secret. All right. Well, Father Chris, I'm going to take you down a channel for about 10 seconds and just let you know what's going on with this guy.
Oh,
And you can play
fun.
him however you see fit.
Well,
Oh, that's so cool. I love
this.
that.
yeah, that's really fun.
Oh,
Hoot and
man.
holler.
Yeah.
What a great approach. I remember
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah, I like that too. I've just made a little map. I'm gonna put it in maps right now.
Ooh,
Gotta be mapping. If you're not mapping, you're not living.
respect.
This is my map of this town. I don't know.
That's nice.
Your maps are so cool, man.
I,
That's terrible, but I'll send him a map.
what?
He doesn't take
Set?
time.
Jiggle your cables, Martin.
What's that?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were unable to be heard.
No. Father Chris had to step out.
Oh, yes.
Right as I dragged him down.
Yes, unfortunate. So yeah, I think the plan. I don't think there's any. I think there is consensus that we want to go to Sills Bend next, and gather some more information.
And then we should start thinking about some great exploit. I think we are reaching that point where we have to take the risk, right? Like we need to, yeah.
On our second session, it's time to start taking heroic risks.
Well, no, what I mean is, okay, well, I'm sorry, let me complete that thought. So there's this Marcher Lord Burke, right, at Sills Bend, and he has this crazy plan of like going off into the forest and settling it. And my understanding is that to us that seems insane or suicidal, because the forest, as Martin has said, is like full of monsters and like really bad. So I suppose there's a reason it's a forest and not settled. But anyways, that seems like a good lead-in to prepare the battlefield, the intelligence preparation, the IPB of the battlefield, to figure out how we can tackle the beastmen. But like after that, we don't. I think we need to go ahead and make a attack, Like actually like go for the cave, try to get hirelings, try to do it. Just, that's going to give us money, renown. Yeah, there's only so much. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking in terms of like D&D, and maybe I need to think in terms of like more simulation. And in real life, you would just like never attack. You would just like angle, and we could just do that. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I'm totally with you. I think we need to get the lay of the land and like just get to Seals Bend and see what's going on there, and then figure out a direction to go. I think this is the region we're hanging out in, at least for now. And if we don't even know what the road is like to get there, then we're there's like you're saying, we need the lay of the land, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know what the
rule the
people are
world,
like
yes.
there. If we're gonna get along with them and all that, like that's kind of our retreat, like our area to fall back to in a way as well, right? And then we can start to decide, like, yeah, build up and do this beastman thing, or see what else kind of emerges.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna be back in 1 minute. Okay, just be back in 1 second.
So we have 2 horses. They're light horses, so they're probably not good for Palensis. They might be good for Zeph, Jagrav, or Marie. But I know Marie likes to travel because I know Marie likes to travel light. Can I have one of the horses?
That I was gonna suggest that it made sense to me to put the spellcasters on a horse.
Why?
Well, because they, if anyone needs mobility, it seems as though it would be. Well, no, the opposite is also true. And you were saying that like they are riding horses, so they couldn't support me. But I don't know. I mean, you could be on a riding horse and ring mail and chain mail, right? I mean,
Yes.
so
It'd
maybe
be slower, but yeah.
And I don't that sounds like a proficiency, and I don't have riding.
No, you're all adventurers. Riding lets you fight from horseback, and this is a riding horse. You couldn't do that from that riding horse anyway. You could only do that from a war horse. So riding gives you that, and it lets you control a good number of mounts, cowboy style.
Okay.
If you don't have the riding proficiency, being an adventurer, you can absolutely ride and handle a single horse.
Okay.
I would say the advantages are this. If you have the casters on horses, everyone's going to need to dismount before they fight, no matter what. You can't cast a spell from horseback unless you've got the riding proficiency.
Okay.
Because it's just not that kind of horse. This is like, imagine doing that from a bicycle. It's just ridiculous. You need both hands on the handlebars. It's not going to fight on its own.
It's a wacky stunt to cast from horseback.
It's gonna spook the horse, and it'll.
I mean, I figured Jagrav would like stand up on the saddle and like
Right, he can do that if he has a war horse. That'd be pretty awesome. But
yeah,
there's a reason that riding horses and war horses cost like, a multiple difference. If you put the casters on the horses, that's great. The horses will move at their maximum speed. If you put the fighters on horses, you will increase the minimum speed of the whole party.
Oh, right, because they're slow because they're in freaking armor. That makes sense, actually.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
However, you just hired one more person than you had horses that you could use to speed people up. So I would say it doesn't matter who you put in it.
No, we should just put him and I on the horse. That way it doesn't slow us down. And we carry...
Explorer who's also in chain.
Huh?
Marie is also slow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, none of you are super slow.
How much is a horse?
Light riding 75 gold, medium riding is 40 gold.
Oh, well, maybe we should just buy a horse.
The medium's less money than the light?
Light's a lot faster.
Oh, yeah. Light riding horses are by far the most valuable.
Okay. Well, I think it's worth it. Shall we all pitch in?
Yeah.
So I missed what's the deal?
Get a third light riding horse so that we can all be moving at max speed when we're walking overland.
Oh, we have. Do we already have?
We have 2.
Okay. And then we're doubling on them or something, or what?
Getting a third.
Yeah.
75 gold total, so it's too much for one of us, but I think it's worth pitching in to keep us moving at a good clip.
Right,
I
but
mean-
there's 5 of us.
Let's just
Yeah, but only 3. So the point is the fighters who will be walking slower because of their armor, unless
Right.
they're riding on one of these.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'm into that.
well.
Also,
How much is? Oh, I'm sorry again. The medium horses 40 gold.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And it still moves at a pretty good clip.
Well, why don't you guys just
Yes.
buy a horse and then
Yeah, you have money. You can just buy your own riding horse.
yeah, just
We've all got lots of money.
everybody buy a horse and then I'll pitch in 40 gold and then disseminate it 3 ways to y'all, so that everybody's spending, well, whatever that is, whatever it is, the math. And we could figure that out later if that's okay. We have the money though. We could buy 3 horses.
3. Sorry, I hate to bog us down, but we're talking about lights because we want to get max speed, right?
Well, the thing is, a light horse has a very low encumbrance cap. You can really only ride over light horse at full speed if you are carrying less than 5 stone, which is good for me and Jagrav because we carry basically nothing by way of armor. For the fighters, they probably want medium horse, which is slightly cheaper to buy.
30
They're
stone.
only which lets you carry up to. And since you weigh 15 stone, that means you can carry 15 stone worth of encumbrance before it becomes a problem for the horse.
Okay.
A medium
Alright.
riding horse.
Yeah,
get it.
which are only
Yeah.
40 GP.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
they
and-
still move faster than an unencumbered person by 50%. When
Right.
they are
Okay, well
under that
then,
30 stone limit.
then that's worth 40 for
Yeah.
everybody, I guess.
Okay.
Nice.
Everybody
There's
else.
one of those in town. You'll have to buy riding tack for it as well.
Ooh, how much is that?
10 gold.
Saddle and tack
Mathematics.
is 10 gold.
All right, let's hit the road.
Okay.
Yeah, can
I'll
we
just add
figure
that
out the
to our-
math later? I will give.
Yeah, I'll post it in the. I'll
Yeah.
put it in the unresolved
It's
transactions.
enough
Okay.
to know that we have the money.
You can afford it. There is one at market. You can sort out the numbers afterward.
Okay, there's only one, so we're only buying one.
3, right?
He said there was one at market. I'm assuming
Oh,
he means for
sorry.
anybody that wants one. Is there only one?
Check the market availability. It is a 40 gold purchase. This is a class 5 market.
So 25% chance.
God.
Ooh. For each person who wants, or just at all?
Nope. There's a 25% chance that there is one, and I rolled and there's one.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Okay. So we have one. Okay.
Well, can we?
You can
check
roll
if we're
separately per
checking
item, so you can roll 25% also for
the light?
the light. What's the threshold? It's 100, right?
Yep.
Let's check.
Yeah, so under 100 gold. So you can roll a d4, and on a 1, there is also a light riding horse.
Can I roll?
Yeah, go for it.
It was not a 1.
Then there was only the one medium riding horse.
All right, so be it. At least all of the fighters are horsed.
Okay.
Okay, so we're heading north, right? The
Mhm.
northward road through Aspen again and onwards. Hopefully not diverted by the forest.
Are you going to Aspen, or are you just going straight to Sills
We're
Bend?
going through it. I'm just saying it's on our road, right?
Stills Bend.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Aspen was off the road.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
my
road is.
apologies.
Yeah, there's a lot of branches off the main road
Okay.
which lead to side.
Forget I said anything. My apologies. I just think of it as on the way.
All right.
Okay. Sorry, give me just one moment.
Okay.
Problem.
I just have to say I'm actually at my son's mother's house because she's not feeling well,
Oh.
and I'm getting a message that things are getting worse. So I'm just gonna do one more check here, and I'll be right back again. Sorry, I may have to cancel. I may have to leave, but I'm really hoping I don't.
All right.
Just give me
Good
one
check,
sec.
man.
Father Chris, I sent you a message. you will be playing Ross's henchman.
Oh. Okay. Fun.
All right. The party will travel to Sill's Bend. About every mile along the road, there is a watchtower placed slightly back from the river. A lot of them are either staffed only by one soldier or just locked up with no one there. It seems that the soldiers are either completely depleted or spread really thin. After the better part of a day's travel, you will arrive. There's still some sunlight. And you see Sill's Bend built on a similar sort of hill to Ostmark. And while the construction appears to be of the same sort, the atmosphere here is different. It's quieter, but tense. This is clearly a smaller settlement, not being at the confluence of several roads, but there are a lot of people for the size. Looks like crowds that have kind of come from elsewhere and are milling about outside or heading up in small groups to the gate and going in.
Okay, I'm back and I'm good, and I heard the last minute there too. So
Okay, this is just you've arrived at Sill's Bend.
yeah,
What is
Yeah.
the
The layout is functionally the same. It looks like it was built on the same sort of template as Ostmark. Minor differences,
Chris.
but clearly the same architect was at work.
and what is the time of year? And
It's spring. It is the second month of spring, and this is a pretty kind of temperate. No, this isn't a temperate region. This is like a slightly south of Mediterranean, but not super arid. Think like North India.
Okay. Okay. So why is the air silence is too much?
this is the way it is.
We must be cautious. People will be.
Is it quieter? Did you say?
There are crowds, but not a lot of noise.
Okay.
And he said it was tense. The atmosphere was tense.
Right. Well, I think this is to be expected. Honestly, let's head in and see what news there is.
People fear the unknown too much.
Maybe something nice will happen.
You'll have no trouble at the gate, aside from something of a line before you get to head in. They will recognize Marie by... Does she still wear the livery of her old unit somewhere? A mark, a patch, something like that? Or is she just...
Sure, yeah. If that helps get along and get by, for sure.
It's up to you. It will identify you as being a member of civil society. So
Yeah, I
don't
think
know
so.
how helpful it will be if you're interacting with brigands in the wilderness, but certainly it could help here.
Yeah, I think she definitely is wearing that. I'll make a note of it.
Okay.
Mark of a scout.
It'll be a mark of the tour that you were at. They'll know that you were a scout because
Yeah.
of how you're dressed.
Yeah, maybe it's
Okay.
like a pin that pins together her cloak or something.
Sure, could be that. That makes perfect sense to me.
Okay.
So she'll receive a nod. She wasn't from here, I guess, but you know, they have more in common with each other, the scouts, than they do with the rest of the infantry.
I'll nod. There's no way, there's no in outside of the walls on this one?
There is, and a bathhouse.
Ah, okay. But this is to get in outside of this. We're already past that, going inside the tour now, right?
You have ascended
Yeah.
the packed earth ramp
Right.
up to the gates of the whitewashed tour.
Okay.
And this is the guard who is standing at the main gate and permitting you entry to the avenue.
Right. Yeah, I'll just nod and say, yeah, I'll just nod. Once we get inside, we'll go look for. I just saved the others. Once we get inside, let's look for the. What's his name?
Work.
Yeah. Look for
He'll
the
be at his villa.
March warden. Right.
Most of
I'll
the
just actually, as we go in, is the March warden still here? I'll ask at the gate.
Of course, he'll be seeing petitioners at the villa. He looks at the
Good.
long line. Probably until he decides he's done.
Fair enough. I'll turn to the others and say maybe we're better off waiting till the morning. If this is later in the day by this point, right?
A little bit, yeah. You're getting into the early mid afternoon.
Maybe we're better off doing other things and getting in this line tomorrow morning. I don't know if we're going to have a chance to meet him today.
What time does the line form?
The guard looks out. I think some of these people have been waiting for days.
Oh, so we're
He
going to
looks
be
back
waiting.
up at you. He looks back up at Marie and says, "But not all of them are that important."
In this case, I suggest we make our way to the front of the line.
I think it's vital that we meet with him as soon as possible. If not this evening, then first thing tomorrow morning, I think.
He says, "I'm not the person to tell that, but you could speak with the guards outside the villa."
I'll do that. Come on then, and I'll lead the others in.
Yes, we have important intelligence, I would say.
That is true.
Yeah, it is true.
Some knowledge
The-
of...
The guard looks at the rest of you who are not Marie with some confusion.
We're with her.
There.
He nods uncomfortably.
We'll speak to the March warden about it.
Jagrav,
Okay.
I hold out my hand.
Complicated. Jagrav.
Jagrav?
Jagrav.
Okay, you can go.
Thank you.
You're an uncanny man, my friend. I'm pleased to be in your company.
Because I am polite, I am uncanny.
You are. It is true. You have a certain air about you, which your politeness. There's a parable I remember from a long time ago.
It costs nothing and pays many dividends, my friend.
Shortly after arriving in a country, he seems to know everything about it. His secret technique for gathering information. He is cordial, upright, courteous, temperate, and complacent. If this is a secret technique, we all should practice it.
I recommend.
You'll have no trouble finding the villa. You pass between the two cavalry barracks down the avenue. Sorry, the two infantry barracks down the avenue, around the headquarters building, where the soldiers will have done their formation in the mornings. And just past that is the villa. Outside there is something of a line, not too long, maybe 10 people, but these sorts of lines can either be fast or slow.
I'm just going to walk to the front of the line and speak to whatever guard is at the very front.
He'll halt you and say, "Business?"
Yes, we come from Osmark Tor. We bring news of the beastmen. Important intelligence. I think it's important for us to talk to the March Warden before nightfall.
Some of the people in line look pretty unhappy that you've cut to the front, but a couple of them who overhear what you're saying shrug and say, "Well, at least it seems important to them." The guard will escort you in. He won't put you at the front of the line, but he'll put you pretty close. He'll say,
Okay.
"You'll probably get in just before he finishes up."
Okay. As we're sitting in line, I'll look at the others and just say, I hope that you'll support me in this and help me. I'm not so good with words like this, but I mean, we do know that we did discover potentially a place where these beastmen are coming from.
No, I agree completely. This is important. This is important information to the public peace and to our military needs. You're wise to bring it to the attention of these people as soon as possible.
You tell the truth. We leave out the part of the men on the ground.
Yes, let's do. It's not
But
that part's not as strictly strategically important.
You'll all be escorted to the waiting room. You're not made to stand in line at this point, where a large sort of U-shaped pine bench, upholstered with, I don't know, let's go with blue linen,
Ooh,
and
nice.
scattered with red wool pillows,
Ooh.
encircles a huge bearskin carpet.
Ooh.
There are like wicker footstools arranged atop the carpet. Most of them are taken, but you're able to find a couple of seats for a couple of you
I'm sitting on that
while
carpet.
you wait.
I'm
Okay.
I want the carpet. You can have the footstools. I'm sitting on the bear. This is a novelty for Zephyr.
Jagrov
Okay.
examines the walls and whatever decorations there may be. Statuary or wall hangings, perhaps.
No statuary. Just there are a couple of sort of broad strokes and maps of places that you don't recognize. One hunting trophy, taxidermied, I suppose, or skinned. I'm not sure taxidermy is a thing at this stage in history. Let's just go with some skins. And there are 5 other petitioners sitting around waiting. Do you have any business with them, or do you just want to wait your turn?
Marie is just like pacing back and forth nervously. Like this isn't her. She's not comfortable with this kind of thing, dealing with people and having speaking to the March Warden. So she's like rubbing. Her hands are sweating, and she's just kind of like pacing back and forth.
Zephyr takes the opportunity to teach her one of his calisthenics for centering the mind.
And Jagrov will see if any of these other petitioners have any scholarly look about them.
No, they all look like small folk.
In that case, he will turn his nose up and wait patiently, politely.
Okay. Well, after about 25 or 30 minutes, all of them will have gone in, and you will be called up by a guard who comes to the door of the waiting room, motions you all forward, verifies which one of you is the spokesperson for your group.
I look nervously at the 2 strange, talking too much wizards, and the possible murderous soldiers, and I say, it's me. I speak for the group.
He looks down at
whisper to
you and
Zaphar,
looks back up at you and nods and says, "Makes sense. Come."
Okay. I whisper to Zaphar, the breathing exercise is working. Feel less anxious.
Good.
She walks in with her hand on her chest, make sure the others are following.
This is good. Well done, Zephyr.
He'll walk you around the center courtyard, where It looks like there's some sort of kennel or something like that. A couple of dogs. They seem big and mean, but they don't bark or anything. They're quite tame at this point. Next to the waiting room, maybe 2 rooms over, but along the wall, is the Marks Warden's office. Now, this one is decorated quite differently from the Marks Warden of Osmarks was, but the general layout is the same. Sheer curtains, which are parted to show an interior room of rare and expensive-looking furs lining the floor. And at the back, a desk with hornwork filigree, and sitting behind it with a troubled brow is the man you assume to be the Marks Warden. Dark, receding hair, which, in a manner you would consider almost unbefitting an officer, he keeps cut short, just like the enlisted soldiers. He's got a really mean scar tracing from the top sort of center of his brow diagonally across his nose. It's the ugly kind that you would think doesn't help you much at a dinner party with fancy types, but you have absolutely no doubt that it impresses the fresh recruits. For someone of this station, he seems pretty young to you. Younger even than Markswarden Conrad was at Ostmark.
Okay.
And it's late in the day for him to be hearing these petitions, you'd think, as well.
Right. Greetings, March Warden. It's an honor to meet you, and I realize it's late in the day. I am Marie. I was a scout in from Waldron Tor, but I come now as a guide, and I bring news of beastmen, or at least of rumors of their location, of their lair in the Needlebreak.
This isn't news to me.
This is not news to you.
But go on.
Well, breathe for a second. We encountered bandits on a cart track in the Needlebreak. They were delivering materials, supplies, construction materials, and trade goods to a cave deeper in the forest. You've heard of this?
I've heard of the raids.
Yes,
I've heard of the disappearing villages, but only from the west.
Yes, this was from the Needlebreak in the west as well. I think we know, we have an idea of where they might be coming from. It's potentially valuable, I think.
Perhaps. But we think that forest is too large to secure before we run out of time.
Yes, I've heard rumors that you're thinking about heading east, across the river, or if, as a possible place to a second line of defense, perhaps.
Well, you're a scout. You'll have noticed the patterns. Raids. More frequent. No matter how much we fight them back.
Yes, I've heard. And I've seen...
What you may not be aware of is that up here, to the east, there are none. That forest is empty. I think it might be safe.
Well, this brings me to our second point then. I wonder if you need any help, if there's any value in having 3 or 5 people with experience to help explore or scout or map the area. We're not currently employed, and we come with a variety of talents. Look back at the others.
You can visit Cartographer Alda, if you have questions about fair work for fair pay, but yes, as I'm sure you've heard, I am hiring surveyors.
Yes, we have heard, of course. Then maybe that's the best. Or maybe that's our best use. We are also coming from the west, and who knows when the danger might come, when the people might come from the south. I sort of glance over at Jagrev.
Jagrev rolls his eyes.
But so there's I have interest myself in finding a place to. What the future holds is uncertain, and I must admit, even for myself, that I don't know if the countryside to the west is going to be a place that we can where we can stay for the months to come.
I'm not given to speculating with those from the ranks. Too many opinions.
I understand. I apologize. Well,
But if you're interested in the work, you can find more details at the quartermaster's. He has time for this.
Thank you. And if we find anything more about the beastmen, then I suppose would it be you that we would meet then?
I have no interest in them.
Well, it has been a pleasure. I look over at the others to see if there's anything that I've missed. If anybody wants to speak up.
Sounds like we have the two people to ask for both things, yeah.
We got the quartermaster, or we've got the quartermaster and the cartographer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just awkwardly walk out of the room.
Okay. Well, you'll be escorted out.
Right.
By the guard, all of you. You get the sense that despite your best efforts, the Marks Warden seemed pretty annoyed to have a conversation directly.
Right.
He was polite, but this did not seem... You get the sense that maybe he thought you were wasting his time.
Yeah, that's information enough in itself. I think Marie feels like she did a terrible job, kind of quiet and awkward about it. Well, I guess it's to the cartographer and the quartermaster then.
Okay. You'll find them at the chapter house, or what would have been the chapter house at the other tour. Here, in its place, there's a sort of 100-foot long, maybe 20, 30 foot deep lodge. You'll recognize this is the sort of scouts lodge that those who were handpicked from among the ranks of the light infantry to be trained as scouts tend to apprentice at.
Cool. Okay.
Also, it's probably where the commissary is.
Ooh, snacks.
Not that kind of commissary, unfortunately.
Oh.
Where's this? I'm sorry. Where is this located again?
Elsewhere in the tour.
Inside
Okay.
the walls?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is inside the walls. This is kind of just past the villa.
Cool.
Past the villa. Okay.
You're now all the way on the north side. Just past this is the wall of the outer paling.
Okay.
Jagrev, I have a question which may be... Well, no, I'm just going to ask it. How did you get here? Just by boat?
For the first time, Jagrev looks uncomfortable and even a little embarrassed. No.
I'll ask another time. Clearly it's a personal matter.
Yes.
So this is probably where they are then. I show the building. This is probably already know this, but this is where we might find the cartographer and the quartermaster. We
Quite a
didn't have
structure.
names. Go ahead.
It's quite a structure.
Indeed.
The cartographer's name was given to you as Alda. The quartermaster's name was not given.
Alda? ALDA?
Alda, yeah. ALDE.
Oh,
Well,
Alba.
I mean, you can spell it however you want. I mean,
Right.
we're dealing with fantasy names here, man. You can decide that it's French and add an EAUX at the end for
Right.
all I care.
Cool.
Don't sex it up,
Yeah.
There you go.
dirt.
Occitan. Make it an AUT.
There you go. So we'll ask around and try to get the name for, or find out where, if Alda's still around during the day and available.
As you arrive, you will hear that Alda just left for the bathhouse from one of the guards. You would think
Okay.
that's probably normal at this point in the sort of mid-late afternoon.
All right. Well, he's in the bathhouse, or she or they. I don't personally want to do business with someone when they're already finished for the day, but if any of you do, then by all means go for it. But maybe it's time
Actually,
for us.
you would typically consider this ideal.
Oh, yeah?
The reaction. Well, okay. I leave this to you guys, but if we're basing this on anything resembling a bathhouse in antiquity, it's pretty much like the ideal place to hobnob with people.
Okay.
I mean, like in a sauna room or something, you know. There's
Right.
a hot room, a cold room, a steam. You know, you don't touch
Right.
someone there in the lavatory, but
If you want
it's
a private,
absolutely like where people go to relax at the end of the day. Especially the soldiers will all tend to go in the late afternoon after they finish their work. So yeah, you would honestly expect to have better reactions from people if you wait to meet with them at the bathhouse than if you meet with them in their office.
huh?
Well, perfect.
That's cool.
Okay, cool. Well, let's do it. Bath time.
Unless that's too weird for you. This is a bit of real antiquity. I don't know. It
Nah.
might
Oh, I
offend
love
your
it. That's
sensibility.
real.
I would not want to have
great.
a conversation with someone at the YMCA personally.
Naked
but
time.
That's the
it
worst.
doesn't have to be.
The guy slides
But
in there and he's like, "We're friends now." No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't like that either.
You can imagine that there are towels or fig leaves or whatever you like. I'm not going to force your imagination one way or another. It's just that this is a social place.
Yeah.
Martin made me
Cool.
talk at the bathhouse.
I know.
Show me where the bad DM made you role play.
All right.
Jagadov is all about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's probably just sizing up people's skeletons, like strong release.
Yeah.
Yes. Anatomy, 100%.
You've gotta have-
Maybe he's sketching.
I think that's pretty unlikely. There's a lot of moisture here. It's
Yeah.
and paper's pretty expensive.
Yeah. We have to figure out how much pen and paper actually costs, because Marie wants to buy some, and they have no.
What about a stone tablet with a piece of charcoal?
Ooh, that's going to be gross. That's also going to get gross. but it's much funnier, so I encourage it.
He
Anyway.
probably has a pretty good. Anyway, so you're gonna find him in. Let's see how you do. I got a whole table for where in the bathhouse people are when.
No,
find
you
them.
don't.
What
You're
I
kidding.
do.
I
I'm
believe
not
it.
kidding you.
Where the hell do
You-
you find that?
The
It's in-
bathhouse table.
Of
The
course.
bathhouse
It's
location
in-
table?
It's in a module.
Oh, yeah? That's amazing.
Oh yeah, I will tell you after you complete this one if you complete it satisfactorily. That I don't think you're missing any secrets. Exactly what module you're running, but this is kind of a classic.
Really?
Okay.
We're in
oh
a
yes.
module? I didn't even think we're in a module.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you're interacting with things that are outside of a module as well, but yes, you are absolutely within a module. I do not make.
I hope
We'll talk about that later.
Operation
Palinsis muses. Am I in a module?
You,
No, that
you
means
need it in
like
the cold room.
school.
This is
What?
this is an unheated room that incorporates a series of like cold water like wash basins and a large cold plunge bath that you guys will go into after entering the atrium and changing. This is the beginning of the bathing sequence. It invigorates you. And
Mm.
after that, you'll go to the warm, hot, and dry rooms.
It's cool.
And then
Okay.
circle back to you.
Since we've done bathhouse, this is the second bathhouse situation we've had. I have to ask, how did this work for like women and men together? Were they in the
It did.
same place, or how did all that work?
It was
You know,
basically only
That is completely left ambiguous. If this were
Alex
there are a lot of
Macris.
societies where they would separate people. Here, the way that it was done in a place like Japan, which has sort of a different structure is that they were always separated. And the way that it was done in Rome is that they weren't separated, but they were separated by convention. Women would go in the morning, and people of different social classes would go at different times by convention. So it's not that awkwardness about that would be enforced by rules. It would be enforced by, if you go, for example, as an older man to the bathhouse early in the morning when all the high-class women are there, everyone in town will know that you did that.
Yeah.
However, we're also dealing with mixed ranks of soldiers, and I mean, I don't know, maybe we've got a sort of Starship Troopers thing going on where nobody cares.
To be fair, the YMCA still works that way. Like, so, I mean...
With the men and the women in the same bathroom?
No, I mean, like, if you go when all the young women are there and you're an old man, it's still gross, and everybody knows you do that. Like, that's still... Like,
sure.
Is that what you're going to say,
that
Ross?
guy.
You're about to say something about it. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, I need to shut
Ross,
up. I'm sorry. I have nothing good to
no,
offer.
The
extent of my experiences with bathhouses is Kingdom Come Deliverance. So that's like what I'm imagining in my mind.
So I was given no convention. I have a layout for a Roman bathhouse, but I'm not going to hold you guys to that. If you would rather this be if you're more comfortable imagining this as a segregated bathhouse, that is no skin off my back. I am not here to force you guys into any particular part of history.
I actually prefer the idea that it's like it's gendered or whatever it is, like it's morning and evening or something like that. I just think that's cool. Like, I think it would be neat if Marie actually can't be there right now because it's like men time or something.
I sort of like it that she keeps on, like, in all these scenes, she'd be a complete fish out of water. I kind of like, you know.
Like, you say that, but also this is in a fantasy world where there's magic. It's not as unusual for there to be women in the ranks because.
So I was going to say that's what Alex Macris has said, because people have brought it up, and he's like, "Yeah, but they can like blow your brains out with a fireball." So like it's
like it doesn't
kind of different,
really, some calculus of upper body strength related to how quickly you can.
Right.
The average person can dig a trench is pretty much only relevant if you're, say, heavy infantry. But for a scout, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not that there's no sexism. There's just less sexism, and it's different. But I for one, I vote for the Starship Troopers approach, where we all just sort of barge in and nobody cares. But I'm also flexible.
Yeah. You guys are free to imagine this however you want. I'm not imposing anything because I'm not actually an expert on Roman history.
No, you have to be
this
now.
This is a bathhouse and it's a social place, and I'm rocking with that because it's in the module. I don't want to make something else up.
Okay, we're invigorating.
Yeah.
Okay, you will be able to meet with the cartographer. He's a pretty slight man, older.
I look at the others and like, I think that must be him. Look, he's washing ink off of his hands.
Alda, was it?
Alda.
Jagrav.
Your new face?
We're new in town.
Yes. We have just arrived today.
Are you? I hear you're the cartographer. My name is Marie. I have a bit of a hobby and an interest in mapping.
Oh, that's rare these days.
Yes, well, I was a scout. She kind of blushes. Maybe I can show you what I've been working on. Just a little sketch of the needle break.
Well, I can take a look. I'll head back to my quarters after this trip, so you can join me for a brief meal.
I look over at the others. Yes, that would be wonderful. We hear from the March Warden that you're looking to map the east side of the river. Is that true?
Yes, I'm in charge of that. I'm in charge of that project.
That's a brave project. How's it going?
It's only really just started. We didn't have much reason to consider crossing until we heard news of the war. But it's something we've been considering for some time.
What would it entail to be to survey? What would you be asking for?
Well, as you know, typically the areas across the river are damned, horrid places. And one of these forts, like ours, a Toro, will spend much of its time repelling incursions from across the river. But here things are different. We have more trouble from the inside than the outside. Our forest is quiet. So,
Go ahead.
we intend to figure out why. And if there is some ancient bastion of safety, we intend to reclaim it.
More trouble
Between
from the
you and I-
inside.
Yes, of course.
What do you mean by that? Within the walls of the Tor?
Oh, certainly not. I mean from the forest on the west.
Ah, yes, of course.
Needlebreak is cruel. But it's unusual for there to be more activity from within the bounds of civilization than from without.
Of course.
Have you heard the rumors as to why? Regarding
Rumors as to why. Who are you?
I'm a comrade of Marie and of Sheriff. My name is Zephyr, some called the Incandescent. I am a magician trained in the Locarnan tradition. I accompanied Marie on her recent expeditions into the Needlebreak, and I and some others have been drawn to the Needlebreak by peculiar visions.
Yeah. This is a lot of... do you care about the maps?
Yes, I do. I'll tell you later.
Tell me later. He'll turn to Marie. It's typical for an officer to introduce her own subordinates, rather than letting them introduce themselves. I don't know how you ran things where you were raised.
Yeah, well, I'm not an officer. I'm sorry. There must be a misunderstanding. But yes, this is Safar. Zephyr.
Just call me Zeph.
And this is Palensis. And Jagrab has already introduced you. And of course, there is Joyce.
What does Joyce think of all of this, by the way?
He's entirely. He's gone past everybody. He doesn't care about this conversation at all. He's gone into the bath without really much of a word, and he's got his eye out for anything to spend money on.
Okay. Well,
the good soap.
Yep.
You'll be able to get some basic details out of about the project, but mostly what you'll learn is that it's a new endeavor, that they have no idea how dangerous things are, but I mean, it is the wilderness. Even a relatively safe wilderness is still unclaimed.
What is the pay?
That the pay is good.
What's the rate like?
Yeah.
If you can return with a high quality map, it's pretty good. If you can return with a high quality map, you're looking at something like, for each segment, which will be, I'm gonna let you guys know out of character, we're talking about 1.5 mile subhexes as the unit of scoutable area. If you can return with a map of something that size, it's something like 45 gold pop. If you return with information about water sources that are reliable and their location, there's a bonus for that. If you locate dangers, points of interest, layering monsters, things like that, and can bring back reliable intel about them, that's another bonus. It could add up.
Right. So 45 gold per one.
That's just for the space. But you have to return with a map, so you have to have a map. Yeah. Otherwise, you're probably looking at a pay cut for reduced quality.
Right. So I'm Marie is a hobby mapper, so we need someone with a proficiency of mapping. Then is that what you're saying?
To produce high quality maps, you do need someone with that proficiency. All adventurers, of course, can map, but your maps are going to be more useful to you. Right. They're going to require some context that you have, whereas a mapper's map looks like sort of like high quality cartography that someone who has never been to a place can still make some use of. Your stuff is more like
Well,
the equivalent of treasure
okay.
maps in terms of clarity.
Well, Alda, if this is what you want, and this is important, and I understand it is definitely important for the tour and maybe even people beyond. We can do this, but surely you have someone who could accompany us and help with the mapping. I mean, we can guide somebody and we can protect them, but when it comes to making a map that is to scale and in the proper directions, etc., is there anybody in the tour who you would recommend as the cartographer of the place?
That's him. This is him. We talked to him right now. You accompany us?
Who, me?
Yes, you. Of course, you.
You must be joking.
You are the cartographer.
Yes.
They make
I run the archive.
The high quality.
I won't be going out. No. You don't survive to be as old as me and then go out and do this. No. That's ridiculous.
Do you have an apprentice?
Of course, I have apprentices.
Well, then perhaps we
More-
can speak
more
with them
than one.
tomorrow. And
Perhaps you have one who is quite hardy and not so useful in the library.
You mean I have someone who's a fool? Yeah. Perhaps there's one.
well,
can
that
meet
will
with
be
him
the
if you
one we would
want.
like.
Jagrov is unable to stifle his laughter.
Yeah, I can think of one idiot amongst my apprentices. I'll introduce you early in the morning. After assembly. You'll come here mid-morning.
Jagrov was once this idiot himself.
Looks at you. No, you survived too long for that.
Oh, Zephyr is just trying not to burst in laughter in the middle of the bathhouse.
What is the name of this apprentice?
Oh, I'll leave it to him to introduce himself. You'll learn everything you need to know.
He is not even honored to be considered your subordinate.
He smirks, and then he catches himself. Everyone who is selected is honored to be my subordinate.
Well, I am looking forward to meeting this apprentice of yours.
Okay, great. Do you have other business in mind?
We should still try to find this. So where can we find the quartermaster?
What for?
What did he say? Sorry.
What for?
What for?
His Grace, what is
Burke.
Burke? He tells us there is work from the quartermaster.
Don't worry about that. The quartermaster doesn't offer the work. He just offers the pay.
I see. Thank you.
Believe me, you wanted to talk to me. He would just have sent you my way.
Sure.
Perfect.
So, Alda, things have been quiet around here then. In Seals Bend, everything is trade comes and goes regularly, and there's no interruptions to supplies coming in and out.
These are hard times. There are always
Yes.
problems.
Especially with the beastmen.
Yeah.
Is there?
That's why we're exploring alternative solutions.
If we were looking for other work, are there other things that are pressing in the area? Not that we are. This seems of the utmost importance, but I'm just wondering. We just got here. It's been and have been here. I've never been up here. Can't speak for the others, but any other news? Anything else to share? Maybe we're
Well,
like moving into the next in another bath now.
you know,
Steaming.
there is perhaps one thing. Maybe you should talk to the quartermaster. He can tell you more. I'll introduce you when we get back
Thank you.
to the chapter house. It's just a trifle, though. Nowhere near as important as the work that we're doing. I hope you understand.
Of course.
Of course.
Good.
Good to know what's happening.
I'll whisper
Alright.
to Zephyr. He'll have the real business after all.
All right.
He will take you back to the lodge and introduce you very briefly to the quartermaster, who looks pretty pissed off that he's being dragged out of his quiet time of the evening to attend to any business. Yeah, what do you want?
Go ahead. One of you go ahead.
Good evening. Jeff.
It was.
Oh, yes. Have you received bad news?
Looks like I've got some standing right in front of me. What do you want?
Ah, I see. My apologies. We understand there are problems, or job perhaps? Words fail me.
You heard about my posting?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Man. Everyone likes to second guess. Look, are you guys traders?
No.
Are you bringing
No.
in game meat?
No.
No.
Then I don't see as we have any sort of business to attend to.
Okay.
Well, the cartographer mentioned that you had something. Was it to do with game?
Can you read?
I don't think we've actually seen your posting yet. If you could summarize it in one sentence, we'd be quite grateful.
I can summarize it by telling you where it is.
Thank
Just go to the headquarters, go to the forum. It's all posted there. If you have questions, or if you have business, you know where to find me. But I'm a
Thank you.
busy man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Walk out.
Whatever.
Walk out, bowing the whole way.
Whoa,
As soon
what?
as he's gone, I immediately pivot to Miriam. Like, what an asshole!
He was
Indeed.
off duty, man.
What is it? So let's head to this. Let's look at these postings and see what's written there.
Okay. You'll see two things posted in the. These are posted at the headquarters.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Oh, dang it! I hate the code formatting. All right, we got it.
Burke is recruiting surveyors. Generous pay in supply and coin awaits those who deliver accurate maps of the eastern forests. And hunters are required to bring all game meat to the quartermaster for inspection before selling it at market. The scourge awaits any caught peddling fouled or otherwise unsanctioned goods.
Where is there safe to hunt in this area? Like, in the
No.
across the river, there's the nightmares of the east. In the needle break, there's risk of being slain by unknown beastmen. How can
There are
hunt?
always animals that come out from the forest. It's not uncommon to find deer, etc., roaming the meadows and things like that in the morning and evening.
You know what they say about rules? The reason they are put in place is because somebody broke them before they made them.
Mhm.
People here are
Someone-
getting sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question is, what sort of sick? What sort of foulness is afflicting the local wildlife?
Hmm.
It might be worth asking around. Is there a hospital in this area?
Yeah.
Well, between my herbalism and Jagrov's, medical skill, it might be worth the time for us to nip over and ask about it.
Okay. The hospital is still open, although you're getting on into the evening here, so
Yeah, maybe we head to the inn.
Yeah, you're right.
okay. You'll be able to stable your horses at the inn, and book a room.
Okay.
Room is 5 silver a night.
Okay.
However, if you just want to sleep in the courtyard, it's only 1.
Got the money.
This is a stupid question, but is the room at the inn well and reasonably secured so that we can use it for the long term, or is that something that we wouldn't want to do? Yeah. Is it a safe place to keep things?
It is outside the curtain wall. But I mean, if you have a room, you are paying for the innkeeper to, keep your room from getting broken into.
Okay.
You would consider it relatively safe?
Secure-ish.
Mhm.
Probably not a great place to keep thousands of gold pieces worth of treasure, but, as long as we're not leaving piles and piles of money just hanging around, we're probably fine.
You say that, but immediately my thought is to actually stop carrying all this gold on me. 73.
Well, it's not that heavy.
It's
Well, we
not?
could probably maybe buy a strong box or something.
Yeah. Remember, in this system, it's 1,000 GP per stone, not 100.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
you
it's
can
not the
carry a
big
lot
chunky
for the
coins
problem.
of swords and wizardry.
Okay, these are like little,
They're about the size of quarters, although they're made of gold, so they're much heavier.
yeah.
They're not like a tenth of a pound, like bonk.
Yeah. If you want to store just money, the thing to do is to go and leave it with one of the merchants, guild
Yeah, you
masters.
can buy assertive deposit.
But they won't want you to withdraw it for a month. No fee, though,
Get it.
unless you withdraw early.
What's the withdrawal early fee?
Depends how much they like you.
Oh no.
But you will negotiate it up front.
Well, I'll keep my stuff here for now, but certainly we have.
This is
ambition.
reasonably safe, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you 100% on that, because if you attract a lot of nasty attention, it ceases to be safe.
Yeah.
However, as long as you're not a particular target for any reason, you would consider this secure.
Good loot.
Okay. Then I intend to keep this room. Actually, let me toss this up. It sounds like we're gonna adventure here for a while, right? Like we're gonna, if we can find the strength, we could investigate that cave. That sounds more lucrative, or like more of a big thing we could do. But we need more people. I think. I don't think we should go with what we have. But
I agree.
Either way, it sounds like we're gonna be here for a while. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then in that case, I intend to pay for this room for a while. I would tell the innkeep that, and I would even give him a tip, like on top of what I pay.
This will all be part of your living costs. Stabling horses is not part of your living costs at this level, but the inn costs, you can afford that.
Okay.
You don't even need to worry about marking it off.
Yeah. Basically, as long as you have 25 gold pieces to drop down as a quality of life lump sum at the end of the month, you're good.
Yep.
It's abstract.
Yeah, and I agree. This sounds like a good place. I mean, I love the idea of exploring the east, which is mysteriously quiet, and there's lots of mystery there. Way more attractive than the Beastman layer. Like, I don't know, it's we're not ready for that kind of exploit yet.
Agreed.
Oh my god.
Plus, mapping sounds fun. I like the idea with
Oh my God.
with some loser.
Oh my god. Okay.
He's making alarmed noises.
No, I'm just, you guys.
Continually are not doing.
No. You guys will do whatever you see fit.
You are
The
allowed
area
to give us
across
a
the river. I'm not going to tell you
Okay.
what you're going to find anywhere, but I will let you know. The wilderness is a chaos waste. This country did not exist until it was pushed back by people who are like Odyssean in stature. The people who, it's like every single person who is known to have held one of these forts and extended the borders is like Lewis and Clark level. Everyone knows their name.
Right. Yeah. I
Good
mean,
old
this
Syl.
is going to be.
Yeah, I want to hear
Well,
about
that's the name of the river, actually.
Oh,
It's just because the next.
There is a
bafflingly,
bend.
I came up
Yeah.
with the most original name, which is Sill's Bend, because it's located at a bend in the River Sill.
Yeah, I'm thinking we should remember. Well, I don't know.
Now, you guys can go and do wilderness exploration. I've seen people do it at low levels, but I'm just letting you know.
I've seen it happen.
I've seen it
He
happen.
did
Yeah,
mention
I've
that
seen it be
also in the
successful.
beginning too. He was like, "Well, you can do that, but you know,
Right.
I'm just gonna let you guys know a little bit about the procedure here. You guys have played AD&D, right?
I've
yes.
only played it once, and I only played it in a module, so I don't know much about AD&D. But go ahead.
Are you familiar with what happens when you run into kobolds in a dungeon? It's like 2d4 kobolds or something, right?
Right.
In the wilderness, it's 40d10.
100. Yeah.
Right.
So
Well-
if you run into a wilderness encounter, I'm just letting you know that it might be an army.
Yeah, and it's not leveled either. It's like, there could be, I mean, there's rarity, I guess. Like, it could be a dragon, or it could be marching 50 orcs or something, 50 to 200 orcs or something. But I mean, I don't know. It seems like that's where we're being. I think we should do it. That's
Okay.
my vibe.
You guys are totally welcome to do it, but I just when I hear, oh yeah, we shouldn't bother with the stuff that's inside of civilization. We should definitely go outside
Yeah.
civilization. That sounds safer. I just want to let you know
It's
Well,
not.
that
it's not
is-
safer.
that is very intrepid.
There's
Right.
a
I
You can
reason
totally
why
do it.
it's
It's
civilized.
possible to succeed. You may have a great time, but like, don't go out there thinking this is the easy route. They're both pretty rough.
I think if we do it, we really have to try to take advantage of this. My pass without, I don't know if pass without trace does. That's just tracking, but like keeping my surprise thing, like me being in the front. If anyone's gonna die, it's gonna be me because I get surprised, and we're gonna have to really count on that, I think, and hope to get lucky. Yeah, I
I
don't know.
don't want to die.
No, but I'll be in front,
same.
so it's more likely that I'll die first. I'm willing to give it a go for one. I'm willing to do one expedition and see what happens,
Cool.
or else not. I hear what you're saying. Like it's we could meet anything.
I don't want to discourage you from doing it, but I do want to disabuse you of the notion that this is definitely safe. No one
Yeah,
thinks
yeah.
this is safe. Just to be
No.
clear, a 45 gold bounty for like doing something that will probably take you a couple hours is an insane amount of money. That's like someone walking up to you on the street and saying, "Hey, listen, I'll give you 10 grand to go into that forest and tell me what's there."
Yeah.
Like this isn't. Oh yeah, that's a day's wage. This is like.
Well, so all of that, but also it's too quiet. That's what scares Jagrov. That's what
Right.
makes him think. Like he looks at like Marie's enthusiasm for crossing the river, and it's, if it was a regular river, maybe, but in Jagrov's mind, this Marcher Lord is leading whoever it is that he wants to take that direction to their certain doom.
Yeah, or he's lying, or this is some crazy ploy or something.
Right.
Something is
Or
wrong.
maybe he's just desperate from fear and hoping to find an opportunity you know, in a soon to be ravaged, war ravaged
Yeah.
peninsula,
Right.
or you know, whatever this is, isthmus or something. But
Yeah,
it gives Jagriv the sort of heebie-jeebies.
yeah, I'm with ya.
The notion of a chunk of wilderness that's just quiet and safe.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe we're better off tracking why the meat is poisoned. That feels
that's
more
the-
level 1 to me right now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we may want to, if we're, because none of us have a problem with quote unquote metagaming. I think we need to kind of bring in some of the core metagame principles a little bit,
How we,
maybe right
that's
now.
how we survive. Yeah, absolutely.
There's
yeah.
a logistical concern, which is I don't think we can get the horses across the river. Like, I don't know how to cross the river. We would need to hire a boat, which I don't know if there are any, or we'd need to like get a canoe and go across the river. I don't know if there's a place where you can just ford it with horses. Martin, are there such a place?
Oh yeah, it's only like 110 feet across this river.
Oh, okay.
So
never
it
mind.
is. It's not easy. It's not an easy ford, but you can definitely cross it with horses. They can swim their way over. It's not a riptide or anything,
Okay.
but you can't
If
really
we all-
bring a cart across. But you could definitely get a couple horses across if you aren't riding them. If you're going
Okay.
next to them.
Well, if we all had horses, I'd feel differently about it, because then we could probably book it away from hazards. But we don't yet.
Cool.
I will try and get one at the Silsman tour, though. I'll come back to that.
I think it's also good if we actually try to take care of a couple of local problems, then we can at least make some local friends.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
It raises our credibility.
instead of
And then,
just because like we're just like, oh, who are these foreign, you know, jackasses or whatever. We're not all foreigners, but you know, we don't know any of them. They blow through town, they cross the river, they're never heard from again.
Yeah.
That's great.
anyway,
Yeah.
we are closing
That's
in
cool.
on 8:30, so we may want
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
Well, maybe
So-
if we're gonna go ahead.
What do you guys? See, you still have some hiring to do if you want to go to the next morning and handle that. What other business do you guys want to attend to before we start to wind down?
Buy a horse. I would like
Okay.
to buy a horse or try.
This is a class 6 market.
Oh, the class 6?
Yeah.
Odds are not good. So I've got a 1 in 10. 1 sec.
You have 2 1 in 10s,
Okay.
light and medium.
Da-da. I don't think I can afford a medium, a light riding horse. No horses for sale today.
This month.
Whew.
Well, we do need money, and I mean, we can ask around and we can try to hire people, but when it comes right down to it, my vote is actually to go back to the cave if we can hire people. But that's the qualifier for that. If we can get a group of 10, then going to the cave and actually facing the beastmen, I think is worth doing. But if we can't hire
Just
people,
to be clear, no one said you have to go in guns blazing. You're not supposed to be raising an army.
well, I mean, I want to.
I respect that.
Hey, but don't let me stop you. But I mean, it is entirely like the last guy that you ran into in the woods. He thought you were brigands. There is nothing saying you couldn't go in there and try to be friendly. If you wanted to try something else other than like, you don't have to feel constrained to, oh, we can't do anything until we're strong enough.
I see what
kill
you
whatever
mean.
we want to fight.
Yeah.
You got as many options as you can think. Now, I ain't saying you got to do that.
I
but you got
appreciate
options.
that.
You shouldn't feel restricted.
I like feeling afraid right now. That's
Yeah.
fun.
I feel so
Like,
afraid
it's fun-
that I really think we ought to find out about the poison meat. Right?
If
Like-
I just mean if we can, yes, right. But like if we get a cold shoulder, which seems quite possible, then we should actually go and take a risk. If we can't find it, let's not just keep heading on and spending money and head on to the next place. Let's take a risk if we don't have more leads. That's my proposal.
One more proposal. If we're feeling, cautious and death averse, but we still want to pursue adventure, we could become henchmen for the Fierce Brethren.
No way. I got too much pride for that.
Oh, all right.
I
well,
mean, actually, Marie. I shouldn't say that. Marie is like an assistant. She would if you all did. That could be cool though. But we'd have to go back down south. I like being up here.
yeah.
I kind of feel like the levels are
agree.
like first off the meat situation. If that falls through or we do that, then like scouting the needle break, it's the like easier side of things, and like scouting, mapping the trails in there, figuring out like what's there, and even scouting that beastman cave. And then would be maybe we'd have money and mercenaries and finally have hired enough people that we could try to attack them. But like first off is like just scouting, I think.
Yeah, I'm in favor of
Sure
poking
do.
at the needle break. I think step 1, the meat thing. Step 2, the needle break.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, and I think, really, I think it could be as simple as let's get a bit of a reputation here, and maybe
Yeah.
and then maybe it'll be easier to hire people in other places here and in other places. If it says, oh, these are the guys who did so and so, or,
Yeah.
Well, the best way to get a reputation is to be rich.
Okay,
Right.
well, we're already, yeah. Well, in that case, what's his name? Joyce. Yeah, he's been big spending. Whatever big spending there is to do in town, in this class 6 market, he's doing it. He spend until he runs out of things to spend money and to spend on.
Okay.
Okay.
I
He
mean,
is
I'm
completely
thinking in real.
profligate.
Yes, good. I'm thinking in real terms. It probably we're still in the realm of like a handful of gold pieces, but I
He was
don't know.
paid 35 gold up
Right.
front. That's like
Exactly. So
that's like over almost. That's about a year's
yeah,
a year's wages as a soldier.
yeah. He might get bored
Granted,
quickly in this place. But
he was on a higher pay scale than your regular soldier, but like a rank and file, that's your year's wage. It's 36 gold.
For what it's worth, on the trip up here, Marie has been very like vivial with all of you and enjoys conversation. She doesn't give a shit about old what's his name? Who's that guy again? Joyce. Yeah, she's just like doesn't even give him the time of day.
Oh, the feeling's mutual.
yeah. Oh, he
Yeah.
he will make obnoxious jokes and laugh too loud because he knows it gets on her nerves.
Yeah.
Okay. She's just quiet.
Yeah.
Yep.
He keeps it jovial because he's been in military camps before. He understands that you need to like maybe like sacrifice your life for people, perhaps, but at the same time, he's not one to turn down an opportunity to piss somebody off.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. We
So
all know
we're-
the type who like makes those jokes that are totally not okay, but they
Yeah.
can laugh in a way that's sort of like nobody's going to say anything about it. Well, she doesn't laugh back. She's not going along with the laughter. She's looking at him like, yeah, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. Yeah. It could be interesting.
Ross,
And
you gotta
he
get your guy under
eats-
control, man.
He eats with his dagger
Ugh.
always.
Right.
Which is probably not that unusual.
Palensis is like, I don't see a problem. He's just
No. What? Have I just? Is this a
Fine.
chaotic party?
No,
I'm
I-
imagining this guy with the personality of Yaphet Kotto's character from Alien.
You don't
If
have to be
remember, like-
chaotic to be a jerk.
Yeah. Well, no,
Well,
you
but
remember
it
the
helps.
way he treats Ripley, and he's just like, and he's in him and the other mechanic together, like they have just like a relationship that's just like anybody that can be perceived as an officer. They lie to their face. They laugh. They pretend to laugh at their jokes, then roll their eyes. They put on a complete show of respect, just the bare minimum not to get them written up.
Right. Yeah,
That-
exactly. Yeah.
Old
What a dick.
Obadiah. Okay, so we're coming up on Ross's hard out. I want to make sure that we collect any details that you want to you want to take care of, Ross. If you want to hire anybody or you want to be present for any of the hiring, we can do that in about 1 minute here.
No,
If
thank
you
you.
gotta just
Yeah,
peace
thank
out,
you.
then
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay.
I'm that was fun.